Hello and welcome everybody to today's webinar. What's new in VPS, Visual Production Scheduler, and VJS, Visual Job Scheduler for Dynamics 365 Business Central. This is actually the first webinar of NETRONIC software in this year. And so, although it's a bit late, I think I still can wish you a happy new year and all the best for a healthy and successful 2021. My name is Martin Karlovic. I'm the CEO and the co-owner of NETRONIC, and I'm your host for today's webinar. So I'm sharing my contact details with you here. So if you like to connect or to discuss or to share ideas, then reach out via email on LinkedIn or via Twitter, and then we can discuss, engage, share your ideas, look at your ideas, and hopefully do some joint business. So some housekeeping details for today for the webinar. Like in all the webinars, you're on mute, but I highly encourage you to use the GoToWebinar chat pane to ask questions. I typically ask them right away when I'm on PowerPoints. However, when I'm doing a demo, I sometimes do not see that you ask a question, and then I just ask you kindly to be patient and wait until I return from the demo to PowerPoint, and then I will review the questions. And then also at the end of the meeting, when I'm done with everything, then there also will be a Q&A session. So as I did today's, so please make use of this and then either reach out on one of these platforms, or if you have an immediate question, use the GoToWebinar chat pane. So having you muted is an organizational thing and not an indication of a missing interest to discuss. So today's webinar is, like I said, it's on the VPS and the VJS for Business Central. So two of our three extensions that we have for Business Central. And as the title of the webinar is called, What is New about VPS and VJS, then this is not an introduction into both products, but this is more a webinar targeted to folks who already know the products and who want to know what has been changed from the last release to the current version. So it's really the purpose of this webinar is to talk about incremental product functionality and not to give you an introduction into the products. I'm pretty sure we will run introductory webinars either in February or in March. So we have another What is New webinar for the VAPS on Thursday this week. Yeah, on Thursday, so 2 days from now. And then in February, I'm pretty sure we will have another VAPS webinar. We will have a webinar on the state of the art of business central manufacturing survey results. And then maybe at the end of February, beginning of March, we will do introductory webinars again. So if you need an introduction into one of these products, please reach out to me, and then we can also schedule for an individual demo, which either I will do or that one of my colleagues will do. But if you came to this webinar to get an introduction into our products, then I'm glad that you're here, but it might be actually the wrong place for you, because from now on, I will just talk about incremental functionality. So what is new in the products? And before I start, I really ask you for a favor. The Dynamics user group will run an event which is called DynamicsCon, and you find information about DynamicsCon on dynamicscon.com. And this is a community event on all Dynamics products, but there is also a big Business Central track. And for the Business Central track, I actually submitted two presentations that I want to run. One on the visual advanced production, so advanced visual production scheduling, and the other is I want to share the results of a market survey that I did at the end of last year, and I want to share these results with the community in this event. And the purpose of how the organizers of this event build their agenda is actually they ask people to vote for sessions, and those sessions that get the most votes plus also sessions from new guys will then end up on the agenda. So I never presented at the user group event, so I sense that I'm a new guy. So this increases my chances to be part of this event as a speaker. But the more votes that I get on that, the more votes that my sessions get, the better. So really, if you want to do me a favor, then go to dynamicscon.com/submissions and search for my sessions. You have to scroll a bit before you find me, but you recognize this by my, well, ugly face. And then please leave a vote for these 2 sessions. This would be really, really cool if you could do this for me. And please do this by Thursday this week. So end of business Thursday this week. This is when like the voting closes. So thanks for this. And now let's talk about VPS and VJS. And both VPS and VJS are products where we are really following a continuous enhancement process. So we released both products now 1.5 years ago in June 2019 with the version 1. And since then, you see, we came up with a couple of new versions initially in very short cycles. And now we are kind of in a rhythm that we release a new version more or less once a quarter. So right before Christmas, we shipped the version 1.9 of VPS and VJS, and this is the version I will talk about today. So today I will talk about what changed between October last year and December last year. And when we ship a new version, then there are a couple of things that you should be aware of, and this is true both for VPS and VJS, and also for the Visual Advanced Production Scheduler that I will talk about on Thursday. So every new version always includes bug fixes. Then we always do some internal work to improve performance and stability. And then new version also should include new features and functions. Whenever we have a new version, we go to Microsoft again and again and again and apply for App Source recertification. So for both of these products, we now went 10 times to Microsoft and asked for App Source recertification. So this is 10 times 2, so 20 times within 1.5 years. We went to Microsoft and went through the App Source process. This means for us, meeting the requirements for App Source is really crucial. And although we are on comparably short release cycles, we always want to make sure that with every incremental version, we hit the App Source requirements so that if you're a customer on App Source or if you're a customer on-prem, there should be no difference for you in terms of versioning. Or if you're a partner who serve customers who are both on-prem or who are on-prem or who are on the cloud, who use a BC from App Source, there should be no difference. So every version that I present in these webinars, every version that we publish gets App Source certified by Microsoft. As I said earlier, we are now in a development cycle of releasing at least one version per quarter. So for this quarter, we are currently kind of determining what to do when. So I won't give you actually an update on the roadmap now. This is also something that I will share with you later this month or early February, because this is something we are currently fine-tuning in light of the overall bigger picture for this year. And then last but not least, your ideas for all of our products are more than welcome. And over the time, over these 10 releases, we actually incorporated a lot of your ideas and also your feedback into the product. And we will talk about improved reservation handling for the VPS in a minute, because this was like the big thing in the December release for the VPS. And the whole discussion about how to look at reservations, how to handle reservations, and how to handle reservations from the ERP system in a production scheduler like the VPS was kind of initiated by one of our partners. And then we went into kind of closer discussions with them, and then it became intense, and then it became complex, and then we sorted it out, and then we built it. So if you have an idea how the product can improve, but also if you have an idea of like, what should we do better or different, then please share with us, because as I said, this track record of 10 releases in 1.5 years would be impossible if we would just sit here in our ivory tower somewhere in the middle of nowhere of Germany and think about what could be good for the market. Then I would bet we would run simply out of ideas. So a lot of this has been like triggered and initiated by you guys. And so thank you for this. And please keep on chasing us with feedback and ideas. And with this quick intro, let's jump into the visual production scheduler, the VPS 1.9. And this version is already available. So we kind of released it in the week before Christmas. It is available for partners to download in our Teams-based partner portal. So if you're a partner, and if you have access to the Teams-based partner portal, you find it there for Business Central version 14, 15, 16, and 17. If you have a customer, or if you are a customer who has or uses Business Central on the cloud from AppSource, then you just go to AppSource and get the new version from there. So you have to either update your version following the extension management process, or if you're a new customer using manufacturing functionality and wanting to have some visual production scheduling, then just go to AppSource and download it from there. It comes with a 30-day free trial version, and then we figure out the rest afterwards. So the product is already released. Everything that I show to you now is already available, both for on-prem deployments, and then you as a partner or your partner can get it from our partner portal, or it's available on AppSource. So what is new? There are actually 4 things that are new, but only one that I can and will show you in this webinar, but I will take some time for it. So first of all, you know that we have the capability to define the tooltips that are the info windows that pop up when you hover with the mouse over a production order. And you can also, with the VPS in Business Central, customize the text on the bars. And you can customize the table that you see in the visual production scheduler. All of this integrates with the, let's say, with the standard Business Central table. So it integrates with the production orders, with production order lines, with production order routing lines. But from time to time, we see that you as a partner, or that your partner adds some custom fields to these tables. And now we have the option that if you have custom fields, and if you want to use these custom fields either in the tooltips or in the bar label or on the table, then you can do this. And in the knowledge base, so at help.netronic.com, which is an really good source of documentation and information that I really recommend you to visit regularly. So on help.netronic.com, if you search there for custom fields, then you will get information on how you can add custom fields to tooltip, bar label, and table for VPS, but also for VJS and VAPS. And this is the direct link that you can follow if you want to do this for the VPS. Then, and although this is part of every release, I mention it here explicitly, we managed to realize really big performance improvements, especially when loading the VPS. So what we did is actually we looked at the way that we built the histograms. The histograms are the capacity utilization chart that are shown when you kind of enlarge a line in the capacity view and want to see either the machine center or the work center's resource utilization. And when we reviewed the code that we had there, how we calculate and draw these histogram curves, we recognized that there were some smarter ways of achieving the same results. So we completely under the hood changed the way of how we calculate and paint these curves. And I think this led to a load performance increase of a couple of 100%, so really significant. It is hard to show to you because I don't have a before and after state, but when we saw the measurements from the development team, and when we saw like we had these in the development testing, we were really blown away for it. So loading the VAPS should have become much smoother and faster. And then we now support also alternative connections to Microsoft base apps. And also this is something I will not show you, but we had cases that we had, and I don't want to make kind of advertisement now for any kind of ISV solution, but we had customers who, for example, worked with like 2increase's product, and the way of how 2increase integrates with the Microsoft base app is different than the standard Business Central, although the 2increase product is also built on Microsoft base apps. And so we had 2increase customers, and we also had 2increase themselves who wanted to kind of use, for example, the VPS and the VJS, and also 2increase wanted to show this to their partners and their customers within their ISV solution. And hence we needed kind of to, I think we needed to implement a wrapper or a different connection between the control add-in and the base app, and this is now also done, and we have also some documentation on help.netronic.com. And also if you have, like I mentioned, 2increase, but there are other ISV solutions out there, as long as they are based on the base app and, for example, use standard production orders, then there should be an easy way to hook these ISV solutions now with our VPS and VJS. So this is some infrastructure work that we did, but this should make it easier for customers using ISV solutions to kind of hook this ISV solution with our visual scheduling extensions. And then the really big thing we worked on in the VPS is improved reservation entry handling. And this sounds boring, but to me it is big, and it was also kind of a major investment, a major effort. And the thing is, this kind of can be boiled down in two streams that we worked on. The first is we thought, okay, now we have reservations in the ERP system, and we have a visual production scheduler. And then the question is, like, who should win? Should we see the reservations as a hard restriction, or should we follow like the approach that, okay, if we see that there are reservations in the VPS, and then if we make changes to the schedule, then the scheduler knows best, and then we want to cancel the reservation from the visual scheduler. So we always had this discussion with some of the cutters: should we use in the VPS reservation as a hard restriction? Should we ignore them, or could there be something in the middle? And now, under the VPS settings, we now actually have the option to either say, okay, we treat reservation as hard restrictions, we don't care, or we do something in the middle. And I will show you all three options and their impacts in the demo in a minute. And so this is the one thing: we first now have an option how to deal with existing reservations. And then we also kind of enhance the type of reservations that we take into account in the VPS. So in the past, we only took account reservations from one production order line to the other production order line. And these reservations might occur from the planning worksheet through the production BOM, or they might occur because somebody did a manual reservation from this one line to the other, or they might have occurred as part of one production order if this was a make-to-order production order, and then all these indented production order lines. Ultimately, independent of how you did this, these were all reservations from one production order line to the other. And this was like the universe of reservations that we dealt with in the VAPS. And now we kind of broaden this scope and now also take into account reservations from other document type than production orders. So, for example, we take into account reservations from job planning lines, or we take into account reservations from sales orders. And this is something that now I think we had enough talking, and now let's have some action and look at this, what we actually built. And so now I'm switching gears. And of course, I talked too long and need to log in again. So now let's get to the VPS. And for the purpose of this demo, I really have a lean schedule. So I have a schedule with just 3 production orders. And in order to show you how we deal with the reservations, I first will look at reservation from between 2 production orders, or between 2 production order lines that are part of 2 production orders, because this is what we can visualize best. And after that, I will also look at how to deal with reservations that are from a different document type. So first of all, let us look at these 2 firm planned production orders. And these firm planned production orders, they are also pretty simple. So I have here in this production order, I need to build 60 units of item 3005. And with this production order, I need 30 units of item 3004. And so now, if we quickly look at the production BOM of item 3004, and this requires some proper typing. If we look at the production BOM of item 3004, then we see that we actually need per each unit of item 3004, we need 1 unit of item 3005. So like the title of the description says, this is a production order that is demanding, and this is a production order that is supplying these items. So what I can do is, and I hear some sounds, but it's not from here. Okay, sorry for that. I saw there was a question. So what I can do now is from here. So currently, these 2 production orders, they are not linked with each other. But now what I can do is from this production order where I'm producing 60 unit, I can reserve 30 for the demanding production order, which I will do now. So I reserve from the current line. Boom, now I have reserved 30. If I close this, and if I reload data, because now I changed something on the business-centric side of things, if I reload this and if I select this production order again, then we see this is new information that we now have, because these production order lines, they are now like visually linked, because we have a reservation that from this production order to this production order, because a part of this quantity is needed for that production order. This is kind of standard business central behavior. So now, if we look at the VPS setup, then we see that under scheduling, this is all standard. We had this before, but under scheduling, we see now a menu entry conflict handling of reservations. And this conflict handling of the reservation, there are 3 options. There is the option warn and reject. Warn and reject means that we treat a reservation as a hard restriction. Decide means or none means that we ignore the reservations, and if we do something in the VPS that is against the reservation, then we just cancel the reservation. And decide is something in between. So decide gives us a warning, and then we can decide if we want to violate the reservation, so if you want to cancel it or not. But let's first do warn and reject. And what this means is now that let's assume I want to change the start date of this. This is no problem, then this thing moves to the left, and also this, because I have the scheduled successor option on, this was also moved to the left. And now we still can serve this demand. If I move this to the right, nothing happens as well. So then let's see, and let me reload the data. So you see that we have like you unsaved data, no. So let me get back to the state where we were before. So this was the situation before. So now what happens if I move this further to the right? Well, right now this was pushed here, and now I move this further to here. And we are completely pushing this further out, and we keep the reservation as such. Okay, so then what would happen if I would move this to the left? Then I get a message, there are one or more reservation conflicts. The position of all conflicting operations will be cancelled. So this is actually rejected because now I am violating the existing reservation. So as long as I push this out, and as long as I have the move successor flag on, we will push the, let's say, receiving production order to the right. If I make changes of the supplying production order to the left, no problem. But if I try to accelerate this by moving this one that is requiring material from the first production, if I move this to the left, I get the warning messages, hey, heads up, Mr. Planner, this is not possible, because in order to do this production order for item 3004, you need these quantities from this production that you have reserved for. Now you're creating a conflict, and this will be cancelled. And if I say, okay, then this switches back. So the reservation that we need for this production order, material coming from this production order, never can get violated. So let me switch the option. I go to setup again, and then I say decide. So now same principle, I can move this to the right, no issues. If I move this to the left, then they say the saying is almost the same. There are one or more reservation conflicts. Caution, if you confirm with yes, the reservations will get removed. Otherwise, the positioning of all conflict operations will be cancelled. So now I get a warning, and now I'm, as the planner, can make a decision. I can say, okay, I want to respect the reservations that I have. Then I press no, and then I'm back here. Or I can say, okay, I disrespect this, so I can click here, and if I say yes, then the reservation is removed. Okay, so now you see the reservation got removed. It is not yet saved. So important, it is not yet saved. We are still in the VPS kind of simulation area. So if I say click reload and don't save, then we still get back to where we were before, including the reservation. But if I do it like this and say yes, we don't have the reservation anymore for scheduling. And if I now save this, then we will also delete the reservation from table 337, which is the reservation entries table. So let me reload this again so that we have the reservation again. Do you want to save? No, I don't want to save, but I want to reload. So then let's look at the last option. The last option is conflict handling of reservations none. Then I'm the king. If I do this, this is moved out. If I do that, this I can do this, but now if I would still see that initially there was a reservation, but if I save it, then the same happens that would happen before if I said yes. So that if I now say save, it is saved like this. And now if I reload the data, you will see the reservation is gone because I violated it from here. So now it's reloaded. If I click this again, no more reservation. And then I can do this and this completely independent because the reservation is gone. So I saw that there was a question. So before I go to looking at reservations on different document types than productions, I will quickly look at the question. So the question is, it would be nice if you did not cancel the reservation, but if you replan the predecessor, well, this is also something that you could do. You could do it by moving the predecessor to the right, to the left-hand side, and then move the successor. But right now, we have it like this. So next question. The question, do you want the save on reload should be, would you like to discard changes? I have so many times saved what I wanted because I see the, well, let's, thanks for the comment, Jakub. I will definitely discuss this with the developers and see if and how we can improve the messaging on these message boxes. This is definitely a valuable remark that you are making here. So let's go back to here. And let me quickly reload. So now what we have is also, we have this release production order for item 3000. And let me quickly move this so that we are producing this. Maybe we are producing this here so that this finishes on the 1st of February. Let me just tweak the data a bit. And now let me quickly go to jobs. And before I do so, give me a second, sorry for that. I go back here and again say conflict handling decide. What's happening now? Now let me do it with decide. And now let's see that we have item 3000 with a quantity of 100. We are producing it here on the 29th of January, finishing on the 1st of February. So now let's go to jobs. And I have a very, very stupid job here, job 130, that only has like a very few job planning lines. So this job starts on 29th of January and I need resource Tom for 24 hours. And then on the 5th of February, I need the resource Paul with 32 hours. And then on the same day, I need the item 3000 and I need 20 units of this item 3000. So now we know that we have one of these items in our production schedule. So actually I could say from here, functions, I could reserve, right? I could make a reservation from this job on this released production order that I have here, which I'm going to do now. So I reserve from the current line. So now I made a reservation and I said, okay, for this job 130, which I never ever see in my VPS, I have a reservation. So part of this job is now needed and I need to reload because I added data to Business Central. So let me quickly reload so that we have this, let's say, invisible reservation here. And now if I move this a bit, no problem, because let's say we need it on the 5th of February, if you remember. I move it a bit. Think still no problem, although now it's getting late, but this is another bit. No problem. And now you say, hey, caution, there's one or more reservation conflicts. If you confirm blah, 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 then all conflicting operations will cancelled. And I also, so I know where I get this. So I say where I have this conflict from. So I say no, and then it goes back here. Or if I would say, we would cancel the reservation. And again, the same kind of mechanisms like the ones that we had before apply. So we can also say ignore, or we can say warn and reject. So again, like same principle as before, boom, there's a conflict, and I say okay, and then this is flipped back because we treat this as a hard restriction. And I showed this now with a reservation from a job planning line, but the same kind of principles occur if this reservation would be from a sales order. So if there would be a reservation from a sales order that sets a specific due date, then we would take these into account, and the behavior would be the same as the behavior that we looked at in all the details here with these firm plan production orders. And with this, I want to go back to here. No, to, sorry for that, to here. And now we talked about the VPS, and I will very briefly talk about the VJS, but really very briefly. And again, what we talk about now, this is for the VJS, really small stuff, but also same message like with the VPS. It's available for partners to download from the partner portal, and it is on AppSource. We have the same kind of infrastructure thing. So we have the capability to add custom fields to tooltip, to the label, and to the table in the left-hand side. And we have also the support of the alternative connection to the base app. Both is not part of the demo. And then we just have a minor thing here with the VJS because we really focused on VPS and VAPS last time. But with the next version, we have a bigger focus on VJS. So we will do some cool things related to links. And this is supposed to come rather sooner than later. But now the only thing we added, or the one thing we added to the VJS, is the capability that notification can be switched off. So let's have a very quick look at this, but it's rather trivial. So let's go to the VJS, and I even don't know really what kind of data I have. So let me say, okay, I show all my data. And then you already see that once this is loaded, I get a notification like the capacity of my resource Tom Morgan is exceeded. And if I would look at this from the resource view, and then I can look at Tom Morgan, and then I see most likely here there's a double booking, And if I like move it to here, for some reason, if I move it to here, you see the notification goes away. So, and we have notifications both for resource overloads, like we saw here, like if I would move this to here, trivial thing, I see it here from this histogram, then we get a notification, and we also have a notification if we exceed the end date of the job, if this end date of the job is set on the job card. But if we are sick of these notifications, then under administration, user setup, I can say I want to enable notifications like I have, or I want to disable them. And then next time I do this, now this is kind of, there should be no more notification because I switched them off. Now I will switch them on again because I actually find them useful, but we heard the feedback that from time to time people find them annoying, and then now you have the capability to switch them on and off. This is the one thing that we did with the VJS this time. So next time there will be more news on the VJS, and this will be very soon. So I expect us to launch a new version actually end of this month, beginning of next, and then we will add a couple of fancy things with respect to links. But for the version we shipped of end of December, for the VJS, there was a bit of infrastructure work, and the big work went into the VPS with respect to the enhanced reservation entry handling, and it went into the VAPS with respect to some things that I will show you on Thursday, if you like to attend the session by then. And with this, I beg again for your favor to vote for my sessions for dynamics.com. And I open it up to question. I see actually there's a question coming. VJS assumes that the resource is fully utilized on one job 8 hours a day. How can we handle resource working, say, 5 days for 4 hours a day on one job and 4 hours a day on different jobs? Well, very easy. Good question. Thanks, Avril. Let me go back. And we see that, well, let's just create, let's create two, we have it here, like with Mary, there is this task, this job planning line that takes 3 hours, and that one that takes 2 hours. And so the thing is, and now you see actually I made some changes, and I get a notification that I violated an end date of the job. But basically what we have here with the VJS is, in the standard Business Central Jobs module, it does not work with times. It just works with dates. So if we look at a job planning line, let me double click here. If we look at a job planning line, it just says, okay, we need this resource on that day for so and so many hours. It does not say that these 2 hours should be between 8 and 10. It just says, okay, it's 2 hours that day. So we can assign just multiple of these to one person. Let me take another one and move it again here. So now Mary is working 2 hours on that project, 2 hours on that project, and 3 hours on that. And if we look from the capacity utilization chart, we see actually that she is working 7 hours that day. So, and she has an 8 hours day, so there is actually capacity for one day. If we would allocate this 3-hour task to her, then we would overload her by 2 hours, which is also shown here. And then it stacks like this at the moment. So because we have no information about times, but just about dates in the standard Business Central Jobs module, we always span these bars to kind of across full day. So either like this, or if this would be, let's go to this one. If this would be not an 8-hour task, but if this would be a 10-hour task, like change it from 8 to 10, then we would show it on the Monday and Tuesday. but have the resource working on it 8 hours that day and 2 hours on that day. So I hope that this answers the question. That's not part of the things that were new, but this is something that could come in one of the intro webinars. And then there's a question, but sometimes we need 5 days on 20% of capacity. Yes, this is another great question, and getting this handled is on the roadmap for this year. And we will make a final or another meeting on timing of our roadmap to-dos tomorrow. So in let's say at the end of the month, I can tell you as to when we will work on this. This topic, this point has made it on the list of things to build this year. We just haven't decided yet as to when to build, but this decision is round the corner. So if you have further questions, please let me know. If not, I'm very thankful that you attended this webinar today. I have my fingers crossed and best wishes that you all stay safe and healthy. And if you need to discuss, please reach out. Not only I am, but we as an organization are really happy to work with you. We are happy to engage. We're happy to collaborate, and we appreciate your help and your feedback. So with this, thanks for today. Have a nice day if you're in the United States. Have a nice evening if you're in Europe. Good night if you're in Asia. And hopefully see you on Thursday. And please vote for my sessions at dynamicscon.com. Thanks and bye for now.